Jeff. I am here in a small cave. Apparently I'm surrounded by cats. That's what it looks like. So, I want to try something just a little bit different today. I'm trying to get a zombie spawner so I can add it to the meat factory thingy. Surprised there's no zombies that have come got me. So I'm just going to go caving for a little bit, and I just wanted to talk about something that it's kind of been a big deal. I haven't talked about before. Oh! Freaking spiders creep me out. Of course, this isn't a real cave. Let's see if we can just dig down at all and find something else. Doesn't look like it. Alright. So I'm gonna have to... Creepy spider. Find another cave, maybe over here? This is probably nothing too. We'll just go. I'll just keep looking while I'm talking about. So, probably most of you guys are aware. I have 3 little boys, under or 6 and under. So they're pretty young. My 2 oldest have autism, and a lot of their stuff is a lot of like our lives at this point in time. Getting them the therapies and just kind of being there for them to get them the help they need so that they can be successful. And so a lot of our time is spent with that, and it's one of those things where there's so many amazing people out there, and there's so many just wonderful things out there for people with disabilities these days, to be able to just help them make their lives easier. Without the therapies my sons have been able to get over the last couple of years, like I don't even know where they'd be at right now. The progress they've been able to make has just been amazing. Whoa, this looks like a good one. Oh, it's a thing, mine shaft. And so, so if you're not familiar with autism, or you don't know a lot about it, it's called a spectrum disorder, and that means that some people, people I've heard describe it say, like, if you've met one person with autism, then you've met one person with autism. Everybody, I think that's what I need. Every single person is different. It affects everyone in different ways, and nope. No, I don't know why. Oh, let's see. Mark that. I'm gonna need to go recharge the wand. Oh no. Alright, so yes, we're gonna need to come back here. Oh, whoa. Whoa. This comes up. Alright, here we go. This will work. Just mark that with. Okay, we'll go back to base. We're not very far from the old base, so we'll just head back there and recharge our wand, so we can we can get that spawner. That's what I need. So yeah, so there's a lot of um, just amazing programs out there, just awesome. And like the experience we've had with people with them, like it's been amazing. Like all the support we've gotten from people, and like it's really become something that's been a lot more of a upfront kind of a thing. I think a lot of people didn't really know about it even a few years ago. Within just the last couple of years, there's been a ton of um, just kind of understanding and information out there um, for people to kind of understand it. So it's awesome. Yeah. So with my two sons, they're very different. And they kind of, when you get a diagnosis, they generally kind of put you, they give you, they kind of label it, I guess, is what the best word. Like you're already getting a label when you go and you get a diagnosis of autism. But a lot of times they'll specify where you are on the spectrum. It doesn't really matter. But that's something they do. With my oldest son, he's closer to the moderate to severe side of things. He's what a waste. Let's do that. So yeah, he's on the moderate to severe side of things. Within this last year, he's 6. Like I was saying, he's 6. He's made a ton of strides in being verbal, and it's amazing. Like every day, he surprises us with some of the things he's able to say and express now, and it's just amazing. And we've seen that a lot in the last year since we've had a lot more help, being able to get like one-on-one attention and help with him. And he's really just kind of caught on. And then my middle child is on the mild side, and he actually has a diagnosis of PDD-NOS, which is basically saying that he has, like, it's still on the spectrum, but it says like you have some of the stuff, but not necessarily consistent. So it's basically just saying like you're on the spectrum, but we don't really know how to classify you, kind of a thing. And so he's very, very verbal. He is insanely smart, and actually both of them are insanely smart. And I think just the older one is a lot harder to understand because he doesn't talk as well, and he doesn't talk as much, so it doesn't always come out, but you can just see his thought processes, and he can solve like anything. So it's just ridiculous. So they're just insanely smart. They're gonna, yeah, I don't even know what to do with them. I'm not gonna be able to help them when they get older because they're gonna be that much smarter than me. So yeah, and so something like I said, we've run into lots of support and understanding, and so we bought a house in the city we live in. It's been almost 2 years in August, so it'll be 2 years in August. One of the problems we had is our son, especially our oldest son, is extremely active, and he's just very capable physically. He can run forever, never breaks a sweat. Our second son will try to keep up with him, and he's just sweating and out of breath in like a minute. So it's just insane about his capabilities with that. And so with him having those abilities, and with him being nonverbal, and struggling with communication, and really struggling with being able to not I think he was able to understand things we were saying, but getting him to pay attention to the things we were saying was the hard part. And so when we were out in public, and if we had to hold his hand constantly because he was always running away. Any chance he got, he would take off running, doing whatever he was doing on his own in his own little world, whatever it was, But he would just take off running, and he's fast. And so we had a really hard time when we lived in an apartment because it was very stressful to take him to like a park, just because you want to let him go and let him go play, but you have to basically be standing next to him the whole time because he could just take off at any moment, and you have to be there to prevent him from running out in the street. Because as much as we tried to tell him not to run away or try to tell him to stop once he was running away, he was just doing his thing. And so it was really stressful for us being in an apartment. We didn't get out a lot because of what I was describing. A lot of problems with going to stores. He has problems with sensory issues, and we think like stores were kind of loud for him, and he just had a hard time being in a store. So we didn't go out much at all, and we were able to finally buy a house. And one of the things that we wanted and was a big thing for us was have a good sized yard, because essentially that's going to be our kids' park, and a fence. And so we we looked around and we found this house that we really liked, but unfortunately didn't have a fence. It had a really good sized yard, and had everything else that we were looking for. So we just we went. Man, it's loud around here. We excuse me, play basketball at night, so I'm got a little cough stuff going on. Yeah, so we picked this house. It had a really good sized yard and everything, and that was important to us. And we were just like, well, we can just put a fence in, because we have to have a fence, otherwise we will never be able to use our yard, basically. And so we, like, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I should have came and used this magnet crucible for my my little hut. Anyway, so yeah. So we got this sweet house, big yard. We're gonna put a fence in. One thing about this house, though, is it's on a corner. So it's a corner lot. So that's kind of why it's such a big yard, because it is on a corner. And we're like, okay, that's fine. We don't mind living on a corner. It's whatever. And so we called up some fencing companies, and we wanted to get some quotes, for be able to get a fence put in. And we, basically described what we wanted to do. We wanted to have at least a 6-foot fence, because, like I was saying, our son is very physically capable, and like anything shorter than that would be just nothing. It wouldn't even be a barrier for him. He could just jump it and be gone at the slightest whim. So so we stated that what we needed at least a 6-foot fence. So we needed basically a surface on the back that he can't climb on. A lot of fences have like a flat surface on one side, and then the inside they'll have like boards or something going across them too. just as the supports, so they have the flat side, which looks nice towards the outside. And we're like, okay, well, we were originally going to get a wooden fence because it was more affordable, and we were just going to have it flipped around, so the ugly support part was in the back, and the flat surface was in, or the other way around. Flat surface was facing our backyard, so he didn't have anything to climb on. And so, talking with them, they're like, I don't think you're going to be able to do this. The city is kind of strict about what they allow, and they kind of don't. They only let you have a 4-foot fence if you have it, up to the sidewalk on the side of your house. And we're like, okay. And let's see. Sorry, I'm just waiting for these things to charge up a little bit more. I don't know how many I need to make this work. So let's go give it a shot. I think that might be enough. Right? 96, yeah, that should be enough. So yeah, they're telling us that they only let you have a 4-foot fence if it's by the sidewalk, and that it's possible that you could do like a 4-foot fence and then have like 2 feet of like lattice work on top of it. So it was like a 4-foot like solid fence and then 2 feet worth of just kind of see-through fencing. And so we submitted um, a request for a permit to build this 4-foot fence. We're like, well, that's kind of annoying. We don't really want the lattice because it's kind of something that he can get a hold of and escape. And this is very important thing for his safety. And so what was that? Yeah. So like this whole thing is because keep him safe. And man, what is that noise? I don't like it. Okay. Focus. Yes. Alright, I got it. This is a nice little cave. I'm gonna have to come back here and get those. So yeah, we submitted it just for the request, just as is. So no lattice work, nothing, just a solid fence, like we felt like we needed because of our special circumstances. And they turned around and just flat out rejected it. So you can't have a 6-foot fence that close to the sidewalk on the corner. It has, or on a like on a through street, you can have a fence right up to the edge, but ours wasn't a through street, so you could have one 12 feet back from the sidewalk. So we looked into it, and we talked to some people at some support groups and things, and found out about the Americans with Disability Act. And most people probably aren't super aware of this. The Americans with Disability Act is something that passed a while ago that it helps with a lot of things. One of the things that it does is it allows, or basically says that, like cities and things like that have to provide accommodations for things with disabilities and things like that. And so all right, let's see. break these and get out of here. Bad guys. Yeah, so the part of it that kind of affected us was the whole making accommodations for people with disabilities. Reasonable accommodations. And so, after we found this, we submitted again with a letter from his doctor stating, his lack of communication skills and his physical ability. And a note from the doctor saying that, hey, this child needs to have this accommodation. This isn't just something that they're requesting. Let's go sleep this off. It's a really loud storm. And so, yeah, so we submitted all that. We submitted, proof of his diagnosis. We submitted just all this information showing that, this child needs to have a 6-foot fence. And they basically said no. He can have a 6-foot fence, but he can have it 12 feet back. And, I don't know about you, but it didn't really sit right with us or feel right with us that a typically developing child that, doesn't have issues where his safety is a concern like that, that typically developing child could enjoy the full size of their yard. They don't need a 6-foot fence because they're not going to just jump it, or you're gonna be able to teach them not to jump it. But in our case, because of my son's disability, he is not having access to all the same things that typically developing child would be able to. Typically, a developing child will be able to have full access to his yard, the whole thing, and be able to play, and our yard's decent sized, but 12 feet back is a pretty significant portion, and it basically just makes a side yard, which is completely useless to us, and it's just there. So we went back and just stated, the information about the Americans with Disabilities Act and all that information, and they turned around and rejected it. And my wife called the city planner and talked to him specifically, and he basically, stated the same stance, that they weren't going to change their stance on it at all. And like, he can have a 6-foot fence 12 feet back, and we're not making any kind of accommodations. He said that we could dig our yard out 2 feet down, and for obvious reasons, like not wanting to have a lake for a backyard, that's not a valid option. He even suggested we could dig a moat in front of the fence, so it would be harder for him to get to the fence. And my wife told him that she didn't think it would be that much more safe to have a drowning hazard in our backyard compared to him being able to jump a fence. And he suggested we could put barbed wire around the fence, and then and he also likened it, and he basically said that you have to have a permit. We can't grant permits for anything like that. We're not going to make an accommodation. and we have rules for a reason. He's like, you wouldn't want um, a meat packing factory or like a meat processing plant is what he said to that's funny, I'm here, to be able to just move in and you not be able to have a say about it. You'd want to have um, uh, be able to prevent stuff like that where things your neighborhood isn't best for your neighborhood. You want to be able to just not allow that. And I don't know about you, but we were a little bit offended that he was comparing our son's safety to uh, a meat processing factory. Um, and but my wife's pretty witty, but on the phone with him, she she stated, does that meat packing factory have a medically diagnosed need to be there? And which is very true. We have a diagnosis. We have all this evidence and proof that this is something that needs to happen for him to be safe, um, and yeah, and basically, he's just being a real jerk about it. And he even at one point, because after we weren't just gonna take that because he has the right to enjoy the full size of his yard just like any other kid would. So we submitted a complaint to this bureau that does a lot of funding for the city. If they find against the city, then the city could actually lose a lot of funding and stuff like that. So if they have complaints against them, so we filed a complaint, and the guy called my wife and um, told her how disappointed he was in her, and just retaliated for us making this claim. And this was like October. I think we moved in August, and this was probably about October when all this happened. So um, up to this point, our kids thought that our sliding glass door was just a window. We never opened it because we knew as soon as we opened it that we would be having issues keeping Aiden, my oldest, in. And so so we went in October, we submitted a complaint, and then basically in springtime he found out that it was actually a door. And we decided that we couldn't wait any longer for all this to happen, and so we had the fence built like a week after that, 12 feet back like it was specified. We could tell that this was something that the city was not going to budge on. And so we just kind of hunkered down and just like, all right, we're preparing for the long fight on this. We have to have this for him to be safe because he now knows that he can go in the backyard and there's nothing out there to stop him. So he so we got the fence put in, and kind of the thing that's happened recently is almost 2 years later, we've been fighting this and trying to get this accommodation for our son. And just recently we found out that they ruled in our favor and that the city has to move our fence for us and grant us that permit. And so it's awesome, and we're really excited. It's kind of nice, it's a little unfortunate that it's taken almost 2 years. Our son has changed a lot in 2 years. We trust him a lot more to not run away, which has been amazing because that was a huge stress at all times. And so it's not as big of a circumstance, dire need, I guess, anymore. But it's really nice that finally things worked out how they should have, from the beginning, and it's unfortunate that um, it had to go through the channels it did and take as long as it did, and everything that happened. And so, um, yeah, and so I kind of wanted to share this story just so you guys are aware of these kinds of things are happening all the time. Um, all over the country, all over the world. There's people with disabilities that are it's not just autism. That they're having to fight these uphill battles with things that they really shouldn't have to be fighting for. Cities should be there helping to protect the the kids and the people that pay the taxes and live there. Like they should be thinking about safety instead of every single reason that they gave was because it wasn't visually appealing. At one point, they said that people walking down the sidewalk might run into each other because they can't see because of the fence. Just really stupid things like that, and just being stubborn and kind of just hard-headed about it when it would have been super easy just to write, sign a little thing that says that it's an approved accommodation, and could have helped a family that was already having a hard time. So, um, but yeah, so just keep that in mind for things that you see. Stand up for stuff like that you see happening. Be an advocate for those people that need help. So I appreciate you watching my video, and let's just get a little emotional here. So you have to pardon me, but you guys are all awesome. I appreciate you very much. Till next time, bye.